I'm excited to introduce Trent Gifford. Trent joined Phello in July of 2021 and is currently a COO and co-founder at Wage Parity Experts. Trent, thanks so much for sharing your experience using Phello, and congratulations on using your consulting to find areas of opportunity to mentor CEOs of startup SaaS companies.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Why did you join Phello?
I joined Phello actually shortly after COVID hit. I found myself on the unemployment line like so many people did. The company that I was working for as a senior vice president and general manager had to let me go just to cut costs, and it made sense. I agreed with it, and at that point realized that I have not connected with my network in a long time, or at least the majority of my network in a long time. And Kurt was the one that reached out to me and said, hey, you need to, he had been reaching out to me saying, hey, you need to continue to do this. Well, that was the slap in the face that I needed to go, yeah, I got to reach back out to Kurt and get started with this.
Why is networking important in your career?
Network's important in everybody's career because it's all about who you know, not necessarily what you know. The who you know will get you the opportunity. And my stories that I have to share here today are very much on the who you know piece, because I use the Phello platform to create those opportunities through communications. And the who you know really is all about reaching back out, letting people know what you're doing now. In my case, after being laid off, I had to let people know that I was business consulting again. I had to reach out to and find those startup SaaS companies that are in my background and let them know that I'm available to mentor them as CEOs and or their boards and take board advisory roles. And so that's exactly what I use the platform for.
Before joining Phello, how did you find most of your roles and opportunities?
Before joining Phello, I did like what most people do, is apply for jobs. And I found that just simply did not work. Again, to my point earlier, it's about who you know. And so when I had job opportunities, or I was looking at job opportunities, and I found that job that made sense for me, that I felt made sense, what I would do is I would do the research, go find who I need to talk to at that company other than applying for the job, and start to create a relationship or form a relationship, maybe even have an opportunity to interview them, if you will, and get to know them. But also in the same token, they get to know me. And so you start to create and form your network that way. At that point, you're letting them know that you're interested in a role in the company. I saw this position. They will then typically say, please apply for it, but I'll make a note and contact HR. And now you've got that extra step in to move you through the process. And I've done that really my whole career.
How does the time value of a job board or LinkedIn relate to the time value of using your network to find other opportunities?
The time value of looking at a job board and applying for jobs is, for me anyway, it was virtually useless. You can apply for hundreds of jobs and maybe get a couple of interviews. I'm at a different stage in my career where the networking piece and having the platform, which is what Phello provides, and the guidance that the system provides, is far more beneficial, because it gives me the ability then to communicate very professionally and stay connected with the network. And as I grow my network, create additional lists for future networking opportunities. I continue to use the platform even though I'm employed.
Before joining Phello, how many contacts did you consistently communicate with throughout the year? And today, how many contacts do you communicate with on a regular basis?
I would say before Phello, while I was working, I was probably communicating with about 20, maybe 30 of my close contacts. Many of those were partners in my past, vendors, or colleagues that I worked with. That was my main core of contacts. After being laid off and having to grow and reintroduce myself to my network and utilize my vast network, and the platform that Phello provides. I'm now connected with over 400 people and consistently talking to 200 to 300 quite often.
After reaching out to 148 contacts, how many did you end up speaking with on the phone? And as a result of campaigning, is there a memorable conversation that you had with a contact that you'd like to share?
Yeah, that was my initial campaign with the Phello platform, and I targeted a specific market to let them know that I was consulting, as I talked about earlier, in the startup SaaS arena. Had conversations with, of that 148, roughly 30, 35. That introduced me into 10 really good opportunities to now to the point where I mentor 18 different global companies.
When you first joined Phello, what was your time commitment to organize your contacts? And did Phello make that process manageable?
Yeah, the time commitment was simple because I was unemployed, so I had lots of time on my hands. But the Phello process, and really it's about the platform, right? The platform provides you the CRM, it provides you the functionality to build your lists so that you can start to communicate. It has the videos that you can watch and helps guide you in the process of making those communications and doing your touch points with your contacts in your network. And so even though I had lots of time on my hand, it really didn't take much time to do it. I think I set my profile up, my online profile up in a matter of minutes, and started communicating within, after watching the videos and getting my kind of game plan in place. I think I started communicating with my network just in a matter of a week or two.
When you first joined Phello, how was your experience building your personal professional website? And how did your network react to looking at your website?
That's a great question. Prior to being laid off, all I had was LinkedIn. That was my online profile, if you will, as an executive. And the opportunity to build my online profile through the Phello platform was a great opportunity for me to really step back and kind of take a look at myself through the questions that the platform asks, and really gives you a feel for who I am as a leader. And so once I built that and then started to market that up to my network, I got great response. People really were impressed with it. I've now actually introduced other folks to Kurt that are in the program as well because of what they saw in my online profile.
Has communicating with your network using Phello helped you to find new opportunities? And what did any of them lead to a new opportunity?
So yeah, absolutely. So I've created multiple lists within the Phello system, and started again reaching out to my network, my initial network, and letting them know what I'm doing from a business consulting perspective to start to regain income after being laid off for COVID. Once I did that and started to expand my network into new areas of opportunity like private equity, venture capital, and then all of my SaaS startup executives, I've now created lists in those areas so I can reach out to them as often as I need to.
Would you recommend Phello to others?
Absolutely. I think that the Phello platform is phenomenal. I really do. And even though I'm working now, I still plan to use it all the time. I'm in Phello system quite often, adding my contacts in there so that if and when I'm ready to reach out to one of those particular lists. So for example, if I want to reach out to my SaaS CEOs that I'm currently not working with, I have the opportunity to very quickly and easily do that.
If you're actively looking for a full-time role or advisory, board, or consulting opportunity, schedule a call with one of our PCNEs at phello.us/schedule, and make sure to visit Phello at www.hellophello.com.